Alright, how you guys doing? This is Mike, Pratt Family Homestead, and I want to show you canning this right here, which is pork chili verde from the recipes from cookingmadly.com. Now, I recorded all this, I don't know, 2 months ago maybe? We had a whole lot going on in the house, so I'm going to have to do a little voiceover on it. But bear with me on the voiceover. I'm not a big fan of my videos that are voiceovers. Others do great at it. I'm just not a fan of it on my videos. But, so yeah, check out that recipe. I also lost the very end of this footage where I actually put it in the pressure canner and everything. Don't worry, I'll give you all the instructions on what to do in the pressure canner, but this is not a how-to can video. This is giving you an idea for something to can right here. Pork chili verde from cookingmadly.com. Oh my gosh, this stuff is so good. So, come along, let's go get it canned up real quick, or go get it made. You won't actually see me canning it because I lost the footage. But don't worry, like I said, I'll give you all the info on it, all right? Come on. All right, let's talk about these ingredients. One of the couple things I want to point out is this is a double recipe. So the stocks I'm going to use are the smoked pork chop stock, and then I'm going to use chicken stock in place of white wine. All the other ingredients are about the same. I think I used a fresh shoulder roast from one of our homegrown pigs. And like I said, I think everything else is per the recipe, except I have doubled this recipe, and we are making a double batch. Alright, another small variant here is the tomatillos. I didn't do it over an open flame or on a broiler. So instead I've cut them in half and I've placed them in, I'm going to place them in the oven for, I believe it was like 30 minutes. Just want to get them softened up, heated up before we get them put into a blender. Here we've got the recipe up on the small TV screen in the kitchen. That thing is nice to have in there. Alright, instead of a little oil in our skillet, we're just going to use a little of our homegrown, home-rendered lard. And we're going to add the meat in here. We're just going to brown this meat. We're just browning it, just getting it kind of there. The pressure canning will end up cooking it, but we want to get some juices out. There's the tomatillos in the oven there. This meat's about done right here, I think. I might have even overcooked it a hair, but I think it's fine. Well, I can tell you it is fine. Now we're going to add in our peppers and our onions, our Anaheim peppers, our jalapenos, the onions, and the garlic. And we're just going to saute those for a couple minutes here. Actually, per the instructions, we're going to saute this for a couple minutes, then we're going to add the garlic. I've already pulled the meat off, and so I'm just kind of looking at it. I think I'm cutting bigger pieces into smaller pieces. We want 1-inch cubes. It's all looking fantastic. Holy cow. Now it's saying to mix all that and all that into the blender. That's not happening all at once, I don't think. And to puree it. Little blending batches, doesn't matter. It's all going in that pot with the meat right there on the counter. Just fill up the blender. We're going to puree it, and then we're going to put it right into that pot. Here we go. Throw in a couple of these tomatillos. I am convinced I'm growing tomatillos this year. I have fallen in love with tomatillos. Alright. Dump it into this pot. And then we're going to get the rest put in here and puree it. And the same thing, we're going to dump it in the pot when it's done. Alright, I know you guys wanted to hear that blender, so I've left the sound of the blender in there just for you. Alright, so once we get all this into the pot, then we're going to add in our spices. Or I'm sorry, I guess I'm going to add in some stock first. I'm going to put in the smoked pork chop stock. That was bones left over from pork chops that we had, smoked pork chops, and I just made stock out of it. I'm going to add in the vinegar. I'm going to add in the spices. I'm going to stir that up a bit. I probably could have just dumped all the spices and stock and all that into the blender, no problem. I mean, there's no reason it couldn't all go in there together if it would fit. Look at all that good food we got. Hey, I'm editing this video right now, and I'm starving. So I'm gonna cook up a batch of this. You guys can see what it's like. I like to have it over a little bit of rice, but I eat it plain all the time too. Good stuff. Come check it out. All right. Oh, it's just smelling good. Now we're gonna add some of that chicken stock in there. But I'm also gonna put this juice from the meat back in there. Yes. Good call. Get that all stirred up nice. Go get that put on the oven. While it's on the oven, coming up to a simmer, we're gonna let it just simmer for a little bit. I'm gonna start, I got stuff washed up. I'm gonna start getting these jars ready. I am going to end up having a fantastic helper with these jars. Now this is getting pressure canned, so we're not too worried about disinfecting, but I am worried about, we store this in a very cold environment. I am worried about warming them up and getting them clean. Pressure canning is going to disinfect them, so Grace is being a big help here, just kind of getting them washed out and warmed up a little, because we're going to be putting boiling soup in there, so I want it warmed up. Grilled cheese for lunch, but I'm also canning up some pork Verde chili, the recipe that I found online at cookingmadly.com. Check it out. I'll have a tag in there also. You can swipe up for the recipe. Okay, so this is the part that ends up, this is going to be about the end of the footage like I had said. But what I like to do is I like to get the meat evenly divided in my soups, or the main parts of the soup, evenly divided through the jars, filled approximately halfway, and then fill the rest with liquid. So that's what I'm doing here. Just getting equal amounts of meat into each jar, and then I'm going to fill them all up with liquid, with the liquid base of it. Kind of gives me a consistent product, and if I feel like I can stretch another jar or two if I've got extra liquid. All right, so that is pork chili verde from cookingmadly.com. Oh, I love this stuff. This is actually the second time I made it, and this time it was a second double batch. So per normal pressure canning and everything, you would do pints for an hour and 15 minutes. You do quarts for an hour and a half. So good stuff, good homemade stuff. I don't know if I was able to mention it in this video, but the pork is our homegrown pork. Good stuff, and I got quite a bit out of it. How many did I get out of it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I've probably already had 9 is in there cooking, and I've probably already had 2 others, possibly. So, anyways, thanks for coming along. I highly recommend it. This is very good stuff. Thanks, guys. Don't mind the leftover whey from yogurt that I have on the counter. This is absolutely one of my favorite soups that I make. I love this. Fantastic. Golly.